Hi everyone, this is Rachna Sundar and I'm here on a Friday morning right here at the Facebook office in BKC, Mumbai. Life is so uncertain, right? As in, I don't want to bug you on a Friday morning, that's the last thing we want to talk about. But seriously, isn't life unpredictable? You have no idea what's going to happen tomorrow with us, with our relationships out on the road. But we still resort to various, astrologers, etc., just to find out what's going to happen. How is it going to help? We can't do anything about it. But how would it help if we would know about how our health is going to shape up in the next 2 years, 5 years, whether I'm ever going to lose hair, whether I'm ever going to have a medical problem? It would help because today we can probably do something about it. We can probably treat it, go to an expert. And here we're going to talk about future of healing for the first time in India today. Mark this day, it's never going to be the same again. It's the 22nd of June 2018 and I'm right here along with the Vice Chairman and the Managing Director of Dr. Batra's group of companies, Dr. Akshay Batra, who's going to talk to us about two different sciences that have come together. Over to you.
Morning everyone, morning Rachna. It's great fun to be here on a Friday morning talking to you all, and particularly excited to be launching a very new concept called Geno Homeopathy. And as you probably understand from the words, Geno is the science of genes or genetics, which is a very powerful science. And homeopathy, of course, is the trusted age-old science of homeopathy.
Absolutely.
So what we've done is we've tried to see how we can amalgamate the power of both these sciences, bring them together for patient benefit.
Wow.
Let's watch a short video about it. I'm very excited to unveil this here today. This is the digital launch, and here we go.
Wow. Wow, that's teaser enough. So tell us more about Geno Homeopathy.
Okay, so just to start after the teaser, like I said, Geno Homeopathy is how can you, combine and amalgamate the benefit of genetics with the power of homeopathy.
Okay.
Genetics, of course, is a very new science. The last 4 or 5 years it's been practiced. And the whole idea of Geno Homeopathy is how can you understand the genetic coding of a patient. So genes are individual to everybody. You, me, I mean, everybody across the world has a very unique genetic pattern.
Okay.
As we know that also diseases that are hereditary are passed on from parent to offspring through the genes.
Right.
So really genes are what are responsible for lots of diseases nowadays, and the idea of Geno Homeopathy is to understand your individual gene code as a patient, which is different from the gene code of anybody else in the world, identify what are the genes that are unique to you, identify what are the diseases that are already in your genes, and then use the power of homeopathy and the science of homeopathy to build an individual treatment for you to plug the gap.
Wow, that's amazing. It's really unique. Is there a test that we need to do before this, and is it easy or?
So it's a good question. So Geno Homeopathy, the Geno part starts with a gene test.
Okay.
The gene test is very, very simple to do. It's very easy. All you have to do is, you walk into one of our clinics, give a small sample of your saliva. So these tests are based on patient's saliva, no invasion, no blood test, nothing to be done.
Wow.
And the saliva sample is then tested, and then we get an individual gene map of every patient, which will tell us what are the genetic ailments that that patient has in his genes.
Okay.
He may be suffering from some of those ailments already, or those are ailments that may show up in the future. So the gene test will also tell us what ailments are already there in the body as of today. And the second is what are the ailments that could appear from 15 to 20 years hence in every patient.
Wow.
So that's how it starts. The test is very easy to do. Like I said, it's painless, it's highly accurate, and very effective. So.
Okay. And how is Geno Homeopathy different from the regular conventional treatments today?
Okay, that's also a very good question. The first thing is that any conventional treatment, how do you know if you're ill? Okay, you feel something, you have signs and symptoms, which is how you come to know that you're unwell.
Right.
Or you do a blood test and something shows up. However, signs and symptoms and blood tests or investigations only show you what you're suffering from today, but they don't show you what you're suffering, what you could suffer from in future. So the first difference is the gene test can actually tell you what you could suffer from in future.
Okay.
Therefore, it is preventive, it's predictive. It can predict what ailments you would have 15 or 20 years down the line. For example, some patients know that diabetes is in their family. Now, we also know that the genes don't necessarily pass on from parent to each offspring.
Right.
So one brother may get diabetes, the second may not. So with this test, you can confirm whether the first brother has the gene in him or not.
Okay.
If he doesn't, he can go out and make merry. He can eat whatever he wants on a Friday, a Saturday, a Sunday. Okay. And if he does, however, then he has to be careful. He knows that it's already in his gene code and it's something that could develop. And hence, with homeopathy, we can help him to prevent it from coming.
Wow.
So that's the first way it's different. The second way, like I said, is that the whole idea of Geno Homeopathy is to individualize, to make everything precise. Today medicine is about being precise.
Absolutely.
No trial errors. If you can avoid all that, you can really bring better patient outcomes, better patient results.
Okay.
So as I said earlier, with Geno Homeopathy, we map your individual gene code, which is unique to you and different from everybody else across the entire population of the earth.
Okay.
So once we find your gene code, I know it's a little baffling, right?
Yeah.
And it's almost like a sci-fi film.
Really, for the first time that I'm actually listening to something like that.
Yeah. So when we identify your individual gene code, we then identify the right homeopathic medicines to target those genes to see that you can be treated in a more effective and a more, say, faster and a quicker way.
Okay. I know this is really for the first time in India that we're talking about this, but I've heard about this genetic testing, etc. In the West. Probably it's been there in, in medicine in the last few years. Isn't that true?
So that's absolutely true. 4 or 5 years ago is when genetic testing really came to the forefront.
Right.
I think the most famous example in the world of somebody using a genetic test to prevent healthcare is our beautiful Angelina Jolie.
Yes.
So she did this test and she found that she has a very high cancer marker, and she also realized that she has a very strong family history of cancer. So she did this test, found out, and then went ahead and did preventive surgeries.
Okay.
So that's how it came about in the West. Although genetics, the application to homeopathy has never been done, and this is something that we're doing for the first time. So while testing has been there, the tests that we've developed for specific ailments are very different, and the application to homeopathy is what is unique and what is very exciting for us today.
Wow. So does it really say that if I do this genetic test, I can start treating without any other diagnostic tests?
Absolutely. So if we do your genetic test and we find out, say you have a genetic history of thyroid, or you have a genetic history of PCOD, or we have women's conditions, or it could be diabetes, it could be anything.
Okay.
We can then start treating you. So let's talk about preventive health, right? Because preventive health is an important part of this. We know that people who fall sick have a lot of pain, a lot of suffering. There's a huge cost of healthcare nowadays. So we can avoid with preventive health the pain and the suffering and the costs that come with healthcare, number one. Number two is, even today, if you know that you have a family history of diabetes, what will anyone else tell you? They'll say first you start lifestyle changes, so start exercising regularly, start walking, take less stress. They'll also tell you to eat foods that are low in glycemic index, which can burn slowly in your body, and so on and so forth.
Absolutely.
So diet and lifestyle are already good preventive measures.
Right.
But medication today does not exist. The reason is that most medication comes with side effects.
Right.
And this is where homeopathy plays a beautiful role in preventive medicine, because homeopathy has no side effects. So we then test you, figure out what genetic ailments you have in your genes, and then apply the science of homeopathy along with lifestyle and dietary changes to see that we can prevent these ailments from coming up.
Wow, that's unique. So what I understand is that since we can get this test done and we know in about 15-20 years in advance what we're really going to suffer for, does it really mean that children can do the test and they could know what they are susceptible to?
That's again a great question. I always recommend this test for anybody, but I recommend it more so for children, because children have a lifetime ahead of them. So if a child can find out what ailment, or you can find out for your child what ailment your child is suffering from early on in life, you can definitely help them in a more preventive way. So yes, this test is great for children. The second point about this test is it's easy for children. I mean, I have memories of children hanging on to the furniture at the pediatrician's office. They don't want to go in because they don't want a shot and an injection in the arm.
The pain.
So the pain. So again, there's no pain with the test, and the treatment is sweet homeopathy pills again.
Absolutely.
So it works beautifully for children.
So the sweet pills are really the wonder. Okay, so we have some questions coming up already. So I'll start with the questions here. Akriti Khanna, who's asking, मेरे बच्चे की immunity low है, क्या इस treatment से बच्चों की immunity build हो सकती है?
गुड क्वेश्चन अगेन आकृति जी, आपके बच्चे की इम्यूनिटी लो है और डेफिनेटली इस ट्रीटमेंट से इम्यूनिटी बिल्ड हो सकती है। हमने जीनो टेस्टिंग की है बच्चों के लिए MIG पे, मेमोरी, इम्यूनिटी और ग्रोथ। तो इसमें इस टेस्ट से हमें पता चलेगा कि बच्चे की मेमोरी कैसी है, सो हाउ द चाइल्ड इज स्टडिंग। आजकल ADD जैसी बहुत बीमारियां आ रही है, डिसलेक्सिया, जहाँ बच्चे पढ़ नहीं सकते, दे फाइंड इट डिफिकल्ट। बच्चे की इम्यूनिटी कैसी है, हाउ ऑफन इज अ चाइल्ड फॉलिंग सिक, हाउ ऑफन इज ही प्रोन टू इन्फेक्शन, और बच्चे का ग्रोथ पोटेंशियल क्या है। एंड डेफिनेटली आपके बच्चे की इम्यूनिटी जीनो होम्योपैथी ट्रीटमेंट से बहुत अच्छी तरीके से ठीक हो सकती है।
Okay. Another question from Ankita Chauhan is, I have vitiligo. Would this treatment help me figure out if my child would get it too? So everyone's really concerned about their children.
Absolutely. So hi Ankita, it's a very good question again. When we get patients coming to us, they typically have two questions with skin conditions. Pehla to, doctor, can you stop this skin condition from coming on my face? And the second is, can you stop it coming in my child? So if you have vitiligo, of course we can help you as well. But if we conduct a simple test on your child, we can see whether your child has the gene of vitiligo. और अगर बच्चे में gene है, but so it'll tell us whether the gene is there even before the patches of vitiligo appear. Vitiligo is a condition where you lose your pigmentation of skin, and you start getting white patches all over your skin and all over your body. So we can find out now whether vitiligo is in the genes even before the first sign shows up, and therefore then we can help the child to treat it and hopefully to prevent it and delay it.
It's nothing less than a miracle. Srinivas is asking, does Geno Homeopathy help for sexual disorders like erectile dysfunction?
So good question, Srinivas, and thank you for asking that. I think sexual health and mental health are two conditions in India which are kind of hidden under the carpet and under the sheets, you know, metaphorically to speak. And sexual health is a big concern. And yes, we have developed a Geno Homeopathy test for sexual health for males and females. And so the test for males will tell us about erectile dysfunction, what is the sperm count of patients. So very often you can't have children because your sperm count may be low, the motility may be low. And we have wonderful medicines in homeopathy for all of this. Yes, Srinivas, you can come to our clinics and have the Geno Homeopathy program, conduct the test, and we'll be able to certainly help you with that problem.
Great. So Rajas Apte is asking, he's suffering from asthma. Does Geno Homeopathy help in that?
So Geno Homeopathy, we have actually built it out for 8 segments.
Okay.
Asthma, which includes allergies, child health, sexual health, hair loss, weight gain, and you know some more which I can't obviously remember right now, but if you just log onto our page, you'll see it. And coming back to asthma, yes, the test is really interesting for asthma because just from your saliva, we can tell what is your genetic coding for asthma, whether asthma is there in your genes. If it's there, how strong is it in your genes? Okay. We can also tell what are the things that you're allergic to, dust, pollen, animal dander, all those things, fragrances, perfumes, all those things that cause asthma, we can tell by a simple test of saliva. And up to now, you needed to conduct skin prick tests to find out whether you're allergic to any of these things. So those are now out, and you can conduct these tests based on your saliva. And with homeopathy, we can treat asthma wonderfully. So how this test helps us is, it will tell us how strong is how it can help us with existing ailments. There are 2 parts of the test. One is futuristic, where you can predict and prevent ailments. The second is with current ailments. If you're suffering from asthma, it can tell us how strong is the gene of asthma in your body. What are the other factors that will trigger asthma, like I said, dust, allergy, pollen, etc. So therefore, it will help our doctors to devise a treatment plan that's personalized and precise based on all of this, therefore giving you faster, better relief for your current ailments.
Wow, so I think my dust allergy can be treated with Geno Homeopathy is what I'm assuming now.
Just give us a little bit of a saliva in our clinic.
And when is this test and treatment now available?
Like I said, you know, everything today, I mean, this is a futuristic science. And because it's a futuristic science, we've chosen to inaugurate it right here on Facebook. So it's available and live now at all our 225 clinics across the country. So you can just walk into any clinic, take the test, and start with your treatment.
Wow, that's so getting a lot of thumbs up. Bhavika Bansal says, congratulations Dr. Batra. ये बहुत अच्छा इनोवेशन है. मेरी मॉम लुधियाना में है, क्या वहाँ पे भी ये आपके क्लिनिक्स हैं?
भाविका जी, गुड क्वेश्चन। और जी हमारी क्लिनिक्स लुधियाना में भी हैं, पंजाब में हैं, एंड जैसे मैंने अभी कहा, ये जो जीनो होम्योपैथी का ट्रीटमेंट प्रोग्राम है पूरे हमारे देश में अवेलेबल है एट ऑल आवर क्लिनिक्स। तो आप अपनी मदर को भेजिए या ले जाइए क्लिनिक पे, एंड विल बी वेरी हैप्पी टू हेल्प हर आउट विथ हर कंडीशन।
Okay. Lot of comments, superb, this looks amazing. I'm sure people are really waiting for this to come through. There hasn't been something like that in India or in science ever since. I mean, as we know, it's first time in India. One last question, before we can go on to the next. How did this concept of Geno Homeopathy really evolve in the company?
So at Dr. Batra's, we are the world's largest homeopathy chain, and we've really done a lot. My father's done a lot to promote homeopathy in India,
Yes.
Which has also been recognized by the government of India, giving him the Padma Shri for medicine in 2012.
Right.
So as a team, every year we take an off-site and we try to see and think with our doctors. We have a team of 400 doctors.
Okay.
So we try to think with them, what are the new age learnings in medicine that we can apply to homeopathy. And this thought of Geno Homeopathy came about 4 years ago in one of our off-sites.
Wow.
So we've been working at it for the last 4 years, because anything we do has to be creditable, anything we do has to actually add value back to the patient.
Okay.
So we've done that, and the last 4 years we've sat with genome experts in the field of genome scientists. We've sat with our team of homeopathic doctors, we've sat with the team of allopathic doctors to get all the markers for every program right. And now we're finally here after a 4-year journey launching Geno Homeopathy for patient benefit.
So really the best of everything is now going to be packed in that tiny sweet pill, which is going to treat us all for ailments today and in future. So there's another question that I'd like to take, which says, I'm suffering from hair loss. Both the sides are bald. Which treatment is best for this? Does Geno Homeopathy help?
Hi Balaji, good question. So first thing is, you'll have to come into our clinic and take the Geno Homeopathy test, which will tell us how strong the gene is. Based on how strong the gene is, we can then plan your treatment and tell you, based on how strong the gene is, based on looking at your hair condition, based on doing a small test in the clinic, we can then tell you what your chances of recovery are. There are lots of treatment options today, so my suggestion is go and try it out, and it'll definitely help you.
Okay. Jyoti Manjari says, I have an infertility problem. Can homeopathy treat infertility?
Yes, so infertility is 2 parts, male infertility, female infertility.
Right.
Like I said, male infertility is either sexual dysfunction or where the sperm count is low, and female infertility is a little more complicated. There are many, many other reasons. We have developed this sexual health test that also encompasses some part of female infertility. So yes, we have had many, many cases where childless couples have actually borne fruit after taking homeopathy, but we'll have to study your case and identify the cause of infertility, and based on the cause then we can actually tell you, and based on your genetic test we can tell you of how successful our treatment could possibly be.
So one thing I'm really happy to know is people don't really come out talking about their sexual problems, and at least through this medium they're now talking about it, and they're even looking at a homeopathy treatment for this.
Yeah, like I said, I believe that sexual health and mental health in our country, mental health is in not schizophrenia but depression,
Right.
All those conditions of anxiety are very common in our country.
Yes.
We live in a very difficult world and a fast-paced
Absolutely.
world, and all that adds to this.
Right.
So sexual health also people don't talk about. I'm really happy that people have started talking about it.
Absolutely.
And turning to homeopathy is a great answer. So I'm sure they'll benefit.
Amazing. So we've always known that homeopathy is about mind and body. So Dr. Batra's is into treatments for the mind and body, but now it's even a step further. So it's mind, body and genes. And no, I'm not talking about genes. I think we've already spoken about genes and genetics, and now we all know what Geno Homeopathy is all about. Thank you so much, Dr. Akshay Batra, for talking to us about this treatment. It sounds really exciting. The first thing I'm going to do is rush to a nearby clinic and get my test done today. I'm sure you would all want to do that too. And I'm also aware that you all will have more questions coming out. We'll be glad to help you. Please put in your questions. There's one more coming, so I think I'll take a couple of more, which says, the questions are just pouring in. So how does this therapy help in joint pain problems?
So again, arthritis is something, there are different types of joint pains. So again, we have a developed Geno Homeopathy program for joint pains as well.
Okay.
And this therapy, homeopathy anyway has been a good, effective medicine for most of these health conditions.
Right, absolutely.
We have picked 8 conditions which we are sticking to because we already find very good results with homeopathy.
Right.
At Dr. Batra's, we are very careful about our patient cure rates, and every 2 years we get them audited by an external agency to see whether we are doing the right, the right numbers or not for our patient, the right outcomes or not.
Awesome.
So with all these treatments, we've already had very good success rate of above 90%. And with Geno Homeopathy, our confidence is that we'll be able to target treatment more towards individual genes. Our treatments will be more precise, and our treatments will therefore act better because they will identify an individual. So earlier we used to see you on your case history, which is your signs and symptoms that you present and your blood investigations.
Right.
Now with the genetic testing added to it, we can see you as a completely unique individual based on your gene map. And based on that gene map, we can then build a treatment protocol for you, which is completely suited to you and different from anybody else in the world. So that's the advantage, and that's why we're confident that we'll get lots of results.
Okay, so one more question. Jasmine says, does sinus allergy get treated with Geno Homeopathy?
So fantastic. Again, allergies is a segment that we've picked for Geno Homeopathy.
Okay.
And our the first part is the test, like I mentioned, and the test will tell us how strongly you have a genetic component for allergic rhinitis, wherein you sneeze when you come into contact with any allergen. That's allergic rhinitis.
Okay.
And similarly, it will also tell us as an individual whether you are prone to a dust allergy or a pollen allergy or an animal allergy, or more towards pollution. So based on that, again, that will identify your individual gene code.
Okay.
Also, it will tell us about food allergies. So egg allergy, wheat allergy, all those sort of things we can come to know. And then we identify you, we see you through your gene map, so to speak.
Okay.
And then develop a treatment protocol. So yes, we can treat allergies and allergic rhinitis extremely well through this program.
Okay. Another question is, what is the cost for Geno Homeopathy?
So the Geno Homeopathy program really is of 2 parts. The first part is the test, and the second part is the treatment.
Okay.
Now we are not a testing company,
Right.
and therefore we haven't tried to really commoditize this test. These tests are fairly expensive. Like I mentioned, they're done a lot in the West, and when you look at the pricing of these tests internationally, they go up from 25,000 to 100,000 rupees or 1 lakh rupees per test.
Okay.
So that is expensive.
Right.
But because we've brought it to India, we've tried to bring the pricing down.
Okay.
So the tests now cost 7,000 rupees for the test, which is a once in a lifetime test that you need to do. And like I said, more importantly, we want to use this for patient outcomes and how we can get better patient results through these tests.
Okay.
So we have included the test price in our treatment programs. So if you sign up for the Geno Homeopathy program, the pricing of which will depend on what ailment you're suffering from and how long you need the treatment for, the price of the genetic test will be included for free.
Wow, so I think there's so much good that's happening. The test is included in the treatment. I think we just need to go and take the benefit from the treatment. There's some more questions coming in, but it's time to wrap up. We'll answer all your questions. The experts will be very happy to help you out. Thank you so much for being on live today with Dr. Akshay Batra, the Vice Chairman and Managing Director of Dr. Batra's. And bye-bye from Rachna.
So if you have to say bye-bye, because I'm at the Facebook office, I have to say super like.
Okay.